Have you ever noticed how the smallest words in English can carry the biggest feelings? Welcome, my friend. Today I invite you on a journey. One where you don't just learn English, but you live it through story, emotion, and imagery. Our focus is daily English speaking practice lessons, but not the way textbooks present them. No. Here we will learn through life itself, through struggle, hope, and persistence. As you listen, let new vocabulary and phrases come alive in context like gentle sparks in the dark. And remember this, every time you practice, no matter how small the step, you are not just learning English, you are rewriting your future with courage. So, before we begin, tell me in the comments, what country are you in right now, and what time is it there? I'd love to know where and when you are listening to this story. Here's what you'll gain today. You'll hear natural English phrases used in vivid storytelling. You'll practice listening without pressure, and you'll discover words that connect directly to life. Most importantly, you'll find inspiration to keep growing. Because language, like life, is not about perfection. It's about persistence, about showing up again and again, even when it's hard. Let me take you into a story. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Imagine this. It's early morning. The sky is still painted with the soft gray of dawn. A young man named Daniel sits on the edge of his bed in a small apartment. The window is open, and he hears the whisper of the city waking up, buses sighing, footsteps echoing in the hallway, a distant bird calling. He feels tired, his heart is heavy. For weeks, he has been trying to improve his English, but every time he speaks, the words feel clumsy, broken, incomplete. He whispers to himself, "Maybe I'm just not good enough." Have you ever felt that way? When you want to express yourself, but the right words refuse to come. That feeling, the frustration, the doubt, it's part of every learner's journey. But let me tell you something. In English, the word practice means more than repeating an exercise. To practice is to live in the action, to keep moving forward even when it's uncomfortable. Daniel doesn't know it yet, but he's about to discover this truth. That morning, instead of giving up, he makes a small choice. He goes to a local cafe. The smell of fresh coffee greets him. Behind the counter, a woman smiles and says, "Good morning. What can I get for you?" Daniel hesitates. His mind races. He could point at the menu silently, avoid embarrassment, but instead, he takes a breath and says slowly, "Good morning. I would like one coffee, please." The words are simple, imperfect, but the barista nods, smiles, and writes down the order. Daniel feels a spark of something new, confidence. This is the power of daily practice, not dramatic speeches or perfect grammar, but small, living steps in real situations. The phrase "I would like" becomes more than grammar, it becomes a bridge. And here is where learning deepens, confidence grows, not from knowing every word, but from daring to use the words you already know. As Daniel sits with his coffee, he watches the people around him. A man says, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Another replies, "No, go ahead." Daniel listens. He repeats the phrases quietly to himself. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" "No, go ahead." Each phrase is like a small stone placed on the path he is building. Slowly, he realizes he is not lost. He is learning. And here's the lesson for you. Never underestimate the beauty of small steps. A single phrase spoken out loud can open a door. A polite "good morning," a gentle "thank you," a brave "I don't understand." These are not just words. They are acts of courage. So tonight, when you reflect on your own English, remember Daniel in the cafe. Remember the warmth in the coffee, the sound of voices around him, and the courage it took to order in a new language. Because tomorrow you may find yourself in your own cafe, your own small moment of bravery. And when you do, you will know that your practice is working. But Daniel's story doesn't end here. His journey is about to take an unexpected turn, one that will test not only his English, but his heart. The next day, Daniel finds himself walking through the busy streets once again. The city feels louder now, more alive, like every sound is inviting him to listen and learn. Vendors are calling out fresh fruit, apples, oranges, bananas. A child laughs as he runs after a ball. Taxi drivers honk, shouting "hurry up" at the traffic. And Daniel, instead of shrinking away, begins to pay attention. He is not just hearing noise anymore. He is hearing English. Every word becomes a clue, a gift waiting to be understood. Here's something important. When you listen carefully to the world around you, you train your ear. Daily practice isn't only about speaking. It's about listening with curiosity. Daniel notices the word fresh. He sees the vendor pointing to the bright red apples. Fresh means new, alive, not old. A word he knew before, but now it lives in front of his eyes. Later that evening, Daniel joins a free English conversation group at the library. He almost doesn't go. His nerves whisper, "You'll make mistakes. You'll embarrass yourself." But courage, once practiced, grows stronger. He takes a seat among strangers who share the same dream, to speak English with confidence. The leader of the group smiles warmly and says, "Let's introduce ourselves. Please, say your name, and one thing you enjoy." Daniel's heart beats fast. His turn is coming. He rehearses silently. "My name is Daniel. I enjoy reading." When the moment arrives, he takes a deep breath. "My name is Daniel. I enjoy reading." Simple words. But as the group nods, he feels something powerful. Acceptance. Nobody laughs. Nobody criticizes. In fact, one woman replies, "Oh, me too. What kind of books do you read?" For the first time, Daniel experiences English not as a wall, but as a bridge. Think about this in your own journey. Every time you introduce yourself, you are not just practicing grammar, you are sharing your story. Even the phrase "I enjoy" carries warmth. It reveals something true about who you are. As the meeting continues, Daniel listens to others. He hears phrases like, "I'm learning because I want to travel." "English helps me at work." "Sometimes it's difficult, but I keep going." Each voice is a reminder. Struggle is universal, but persistence creates progress. By the end of the session, Daniel is exhausted, but happy. Walking home, he repeats a phrase he heard from another learner, "I keep going." He whispers it like a secret mantra, "I keep going, I keep going." The next morning, Daniel wakes up earlier than usual. He decides to practice speaking out loud in his room. He looks into the mirror, his reflection tired but determined, and says, "Good morning. How are you today?" "I'm fine, thank you." "And you?" These simple phrases feel almost too basic, but they are the building blocks of fluency. Like bricks in a wall, small expressions give strength to the larger structure. Here's the truth. Fluency is not a sudden achievement, it's a slow sunrise. At first, the light is faint, fragile, but with time, it grows brighter, until the world is illuminated. Daniel's practice begins to change him in small but meaningful ways. At the grocery store, he asks, "Do you have bread?" At work, he answers the phone, saying, "Hello, This is Daniel. With each phrase, his voice grows steadier, and with each phrase, his identity shifts. He no longer sees himself as someone who can't speak English. He is now a learner in progress. Maybe you feel the same. Maybe you are not yet fluent, but you are a learner in progress. And that identity is powerful. It means you are growing every single day. That evening, as Daniel sits by his window, he writes a single sentence in his notebook: "I will not give up." The city hums outside, neon lights glowing against the dark sky. Daniel closes his eyes, feeling both tired and hopeful. He doesn't know what tomorrow will bring, but he knows he will keep practicing, because sometimes the hardest part of learning is not the words themselves, it is the doubt inside us. And tomorrow Daniel will face a challenge that shakes his confidence to the core. The next week, Daniel's boss calls him into the office. The air feels heavy, serious. His boss says, "Daniel, we have a visitor tomorrow from our partner company in London. I need you to greet him and show him around." Daniel's heart skips a beat. A visitor? From London? Speak English at work? Fear rushes in like a wave. His first thought? I can't do this. That night, he walks through the city streets, lost in thought. The neon signs flicker. A light rain begins to fall. Tapping gently on the pavement, his mind races with worries. What if I forget the words? What if I make mistakes? What if he doesn't understand me? But then he remembers the small steps he has taken. The coffee order, the library group, the phone calls. Each moment, though small, was preparing him for something bigger. He whispers his mantra under the streetlight. I keep going. The next morning arrives. Daniel waits in the lobby, palms sweaty, voice trembling. The visitor enters with a warm smile. Hello, I'm James. Nice to meet you. Daniel takes a breath. Hello, I'm Daniel. Welcome to our company. The words come slowly, but they come. James nods kindly. The conversation continues. Daniel shows him around, pointing to offices, explaining simple things. This is the meeting room. Here is the cafeteria. Over there is the garden. Every phrase is like climbing a mountain, but with each step, Daniel feels lighter. He realizes something powerful. Fluency isn't perfection, it's communication, and communication means connection. When James thanks him at the end of the tour, Daniel feels his chest fill with pride. He did it, not perfectly, but successfully. Later that evening, Daniel sits at his desk and reflects. He remembers the word practice. He understands now that practice isn't just about grammar drills or vocabulary lists. Practice is courage. Practice is showing up. Practice is choosing to speak even when fear whispers. Don't. And here is your lesson, dear listener. Every time you dare to speak, even if your voice shakes, you are practicing. You are growing. Mistakes are not failures. They are footprints on the path to fluency. Think about the phrase, nice to meet you. Simple, yes. But it carries warmth, connection, humanity. When Daniel said those words, he wasn't just practicing English. He was building trust. That is the secret of language. It is not about being correct, but about being understood and being real. As Daniel closes his notebook that night, he writes a final line beneath all his practice phrases. One day, I will speak freely. The city outside is quiet now. The rain has stopped. The moonlight rests gently on the rooftops. Daniel leans back in his chair, no longer weighed down by fear, but lifted by hope. And so I leave you with this thought. Your journey is just like Daniel's. Some days will feel heavy, some steps will feel uncertain, but each word you speak is proof of your persistence. Remember, fluency is not a destination. It is a journey, and every small act of courage brings you closer. So tomorrow, when you greet a friend, order a meal, or practice in the mirror, know this: you are already on the path. You are living your English one phrase at a time. And I invite you, keep walking, keep speaking, keep going, because your story, just like Daniel's, is still being written. If this story inspired you, and if you want more lessons that teach English through life, subscribe and join me here. Together we'll keep learning, practicing, and growing. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. I look forward to reading your comments. Tell me, where are you listening from? And what time is it there right now? Your words matter. Your voice matters. And your journey is only just beginning.